1. So I have a bad habit of locking my keys when I get down from my car. At least 4 times I have locked out while not at work, and since working, I have locked myself out 3 times. The first time I waited for an hour or so because no one would answer the door in the neighborhood I delivered to, and my phone was also in the car. During that time, I tried using junk I found around the place to try and break into my car. Finally, I found someone to lend me their phone so I could call the manager. He finally came and everything was okay. From then on, I promised myself I would always keep my keys on me. Time number 2. I was getting down and considered leaving my doors open, but then decided not to, and by reflex pushed the lock button and closed the door. Immediately, I felt a sense of horror and had to ask the guy I was delivering to if he had a wire hanger. He did, and we spent maybe 10 to 15 minutes trying to open my door, when I finally made a loop to pull the lock button open. Nissan Sentra, 2007. Since then, I have been very careful about either taking my keys with me or leaving the doors unlocked. Well, time number 3 happened yesterday. All day I was taking multiple deliveries together since there's only one driver in the mornings. Everything had been fine, no mix-ups or anything. On this last delivery of 3, I took the first order to the place, then arrived at the next location, since it was closer despite being later in the order number. This order and the next are almost the same. Me forgetting I was taking the later one first gave them the wrong order without realizing it. It was only when I was looking for the other ticket that I realized I gave them the wrong one. So I go back, knock on the door, staying 6 feet away, and ask them if I can have the ticket back. They give it to me and then mention if maybe I gave them the wrong order. I say, no, I don't think I did, and run back to my car. On a second thought, I checked the order, and I had, in fact, given them the wrong one. So I go back again, I hate myself at this point, and give them the right order. Realizing I gave them the wrong ticket, I have to get the correct amount, so I get the ticket and for some inexplicable reason lock my door as I close it. My heart sinks in my chest. I've already bothered this poor customer so many times, the restaurant is busy, so no one can drive to give me my spare key. My brain is overloaded. Oh, and my phone was once again inside my car. I reluctantly knock on the door again and ask if they have a wire hanger by any chance. The man asks if I need help, but I say no, I got it. So I am there struggling, trying to attempt what I did in time number 2, except I'm not having much luck. Down the street I was in, there was a long line of cars picking up food. It was in a kinda run-down part of town. So everyone passing by is seeing a short girl in pigtails wearing a shark mask, trying to break into her own car wearing a Pizza Please shirt. All the while I'm silently praying to God for a miracle of some sorts. I hate asking for help or being a burden. That would result in me not having to ask for my manager's help. Store is short-staffed, as is, with people taking on 2+ roles in the store. Lo and behold, a man across the street sees me and offers to help. And I reply, if you want to, that would be greatly appreciated. So he starts helping me. Then a guy my age comes out of the house next to the one I delivered to, and he starts to help as well. More people start coming, and the dad of the guy gets this long wire with a ball at the end to try and press the unlock button. At this point, everyone is outside, either looking or trying to offer advice. Social distancing was not happening, but we made sure to not touch each other. At last, the guy's dad manages to unlock the door, and everyone is laughing and basically having a small celebration. I am forever grateful to them, and one day want to repay them for helping me during a time of need. Have you guys ever locked yourself out of your car? 2. So I'm a store manager for a large chain pizza place that charges a bit more than the competition, but makes an arguably better product. We try to always believe the customer and make them happy if something is wrong. We have a loyal base of regulars who order often, as well as a lot of other business from randoms in the several nearby hotels. Friday night. Karen calls in an order for a very simple pep and jalapeno pizza. Driver delivers it. 30 minutes later, I'm asked to talk to an angry customer on the phone. Is this the manager? I've been on hold for over half an hour. Impossible, but okay. I'm very sorry about that, ma'am. What seems to be the problem? I am at the hotel, and your driver was so rude, and my pizza is burnt. Sorry to hear that the pizza was not up to our top quality standards. Can I make you another and send it out? No, don't bother. You have already ruined my kids' dinner, and they're crying now. Give me a credit. Red flag. Okay, ma'am, I'll credit your number, and when you order next, it will be free. I'm very sorry again. Have a good night. Whatever. Hangs up. I credit the number and think, whatever. That's the end of it. Saturday night. Hey, this lady's on the phone. Wants to speak to a manager. Hello, thank you for holding. This is the manager. She immediately asked if we had any fire extinguishers. Well, okay, she didn't, but she did call me something that you should really only find on fire extinguishers in polite society. She then asks, how long does it take to answer a fucking phone? I'm sorry, what? You've only been on hold a moment while my employee got me. Don't fucking tell me how long I've been on hold. I know how long I've been on hold for. I'm groaning inwardly already. A fun customer. Yippee! I'm sorry, ma'am. How can I assist you? My pizza is burnt, and you have the rudest fucking delivery driver. They practically threw my pizza in my face. Lightbulb clicks at this story. I've dealt with this lady before. I'm sorry to hear that. I'll definitely talk to the driver about it. Can I make you a new pizza and replace the one you said is burnt? No, give me a credit. Okay, ma'am, to ensure our quality standards are met, can I have a driver come to pick up the burnt pizza so I can talk to my production staff about it? No, we ate it. You ate the burnt pizza? Yes, we were starving and couldn't wait for a remake, so give me a credit. For the pizza you ate. It was fucking burnt. Let me speak to a manager. I am the manager. I want to speak to your manager. You're being so rude and disrespectful. It's because I'm black, isn't it? You fucking racist piece of shit. Ma'am, 1, stop cussing. 2, I have no idea what you look like or who you are. That's right, bitch ass. You don't know who the fuck I am, but you're about to find out. She then hangs up before I can say anything else. Being as she was extra, I let my DM know about a possible complaint on my behavior, and what actually went down. Just as I get off the phone with her, I hear yelling in the lobby. Where's that bitch-ass racist manager? I step around the partition to see a cow of a woman wearing tacky bright green and orange and red shoes. Can I help you? I'm already done with this heifer because I know who it is. Gonna say some shit now? Give me a damn refund for my burnt pizza, and I want gas money for driving over here. You didn't pay for any pizza, it was free, and we don't reimburse gas for people driving to the store. You think this is a fucking joke? You're gonna give me my money or it's gonna go off in this bitch. I'm 100% done at this point. Get out. What the fuck did you say? Get out of the store. You can't tell me to leave, this is a public space. No ma'am, it's a private business and you're no longer allowed. I'm refusing to serve you. Leave now or I'll be forced to call the police. Fuck you, fuck you! She continues to bellow this until the police arrive. I had to hear every sing-song version of fuck you for about 5 minutes. Do you want a trespasser? The police ask. Yes, she isn't welcome anymore. Police in our town are super cool with us because we give them special discounts and occasionally donate a stack of pizzas to the precinct. The police who are just outside the main door are easily heard. Okay, so you're now being trespassed. Do not come here or linger in the parking lot or you will be arrested. This applies for every single pizza store, not just this one. The defeated look on her face was almost worth the cost of admission. 3. I am 20 and female. This happened today, and honestly I can't believe it did because I've literally only been employed as a delivery driver for 2 days. Today was my 2nd day. I'm a pizza driver through now, and on the way back to my store from a run I came to a stoplight. The light was yellow and I had to turn left, so I went ahead and took it while it was still yellow. For context, there is a road on the opposite side of me where you could keep going straight. It was a 4-way intersection, meaning you could either go straight or turn right or left onto the main road. At the front of this road, a car was rolling out into the main road even though it was still a red light. I was going not even 14 miles per hour for the turn, my car was tracked, and she stepped on the gas trying to cut me off. Again, the light should not even have been green for her yet. She swerved to avoid me and hit the brakes. And to be honest, I didn't really bat an eye, just kept going because what was I supposed to do? If I had stopped, I would have been in the middle of an intersection in traffic, and that would have caused a much bigger accident. She didn't hit me. Just barely missed hitting me, though. And please note she had plenty of time to see me. It's not like I came from nowhere. I saw her, but I didn't think she was going to step on the gas and floor it. My store was literally there once I turned onto the road, so I turned into the parking lot and headed inside. My coworker met me at the front door with my next run ready, and was about to send me off when the owner of this car came screeching into the parking lot, yelling and screaming if I was the person who had been in the car. My coworker rushed me inside and told me to go to the back and immediately called our manager over. He was left to deal with that mess for a few minutes outside, and apparently this woman kept asking for my name and wanted to get me fired. My manager later told me that she had said her son was now hurt because of me, because when she tried to step on the brakes, he flew forward and hit his eye on the back of the seat. Which, I guess not making sure your own child is wearing a seatbelt is somehow my fault. Apparently, she went off in some crazy rant that her sister had gotten her leg broken in an accident with a delivery driver, like 20 years ago, and that it's ridiculous the way most drivers drive. I really am not sure if this woman saw a chance to try and get money from a lawsuit, or if she was having a mental breakdown, but my manager was very understanding and did not believe I'd done anything wrong. It was amazing the way all my coworkers took my side immediately, and tried to not only cover for me, but also protect me from this customer. I've only worked at 3 different jobs, and this was the first time I've had the experience of coworkers jumping in to help, and not just leave me to fend for myself. The job is so much fun too. This incident doesn't really faze me all that much, and I'm glad to be employed as a driver. My manager did tell me I need to work on my turns a little bit, because I go a little too fast when making turns. It's not on purpose, but my car is made for racing, like the model itself, and it's kinda going down a hill where it just naturally speeds up a little bit. Other than that, I'm not being blamed and corporate is taking care of the customer and contacting her to further deal with the situation. But wow, it's been an interesting day for sure. 4. So about 4 or 5 years ago now, I worked at a fairly large national pizza chain, where taking and baking was the name of the game. First restaurant job, the owners were nightmarish, but that's really a post all its own. Environment was very fast-paced, as a fast food chain typically is. There was this one particular customer, a semi-regular, we'll call her Karen because she was a Karen. We'll get to that. So Karen would come in, take in the lay of the land, creep up to the counter and order. Like a regular person, sometimes she would call in, and then as her order was being made, she'd lord over us on the make line, scrutinizing every tiny little detail going into her za, making little comments like, "Oh, that's too much of that. You're shorting me on that ingredient, excuse me. I know the owners, we're friends. I'll be telling them everything you guys do to protect their business when they're not here." Never mind the owner's favorite hobby was religiously watching us on the cameras at all times, and calling to bitch us out when they see something they deem not correct. Ugh. Or my favorite thing, blow things out of proportion and get us fully chewed out. Her MO followed that. We'd take her pizzas, go home, about 15 to 20 minutes after she left, we would time our watches to it, she'd inevitably call us. "There was a fly wrapped up in my pizza. There was a hair in it. There was this or that. I need you to refund my entire order." Which we would have to do, because the customer is always right at this place, even if they're wrong. She was absolutely making stuff up to get a freebie every visit, basically. And even the owners were like, she isn't our friend, but continued to use that threat and we'd still have to deal with her like that. Fast forward to about a year after that, I'm at a local pizza place I'm managing. My boss is super cool. Life is mostly okay aside from the odd customer that has that Karen mentality. It's the lunch hour. My boss is there. His BFF, who was also one of the drivers, was there. We're just chilling between orders on a relatively slow opening shift. The door thuds open. The desk bell chimes in that ear-piercing way it does that I still hear in my sleep. I go up to the counter, and it's her. Karen, her eyes flared with momentary recognition, as she ordered one of the lunch specials, a 4-piece fried chicken and her fried potato slices basket. Pretty normal so far. I throw her order down in the fryer, go to my boss and driver. So I know how this woman operates. Brief explanation. So knowing this, I'll bet you cold hard cash that she brings the basket back up and tries to get a refund for some ridiculous issue. They were like, well, we'll see. I serve her lunch. All is blissfully quiet. About 30 minutes go by, that ear-grating ding goes off out front. There she stood, basket full of clean bones and 0 chicken and potatoes to be seen, looking perturbed.
Yeah, I didn't know the chicken was going to be that salty. I couldn't eat it. I need a refund.
I looked to the basket of bones and back to her. Well, it seems that someone had no issue finishing your meal. I can't refund you for something you've consumed already. Also, when is fried chicken not salty?
I'd like to speak to your manager.
There it is, the fated words. Now, I could have done the "you're speaking to her" bit, but instead I just grin and tell her one moment. I go in the back, tell my boss and driver what just happened. They just kind of stare incredulously at me. Called it. And then from boss man, "Fuck no, she's not getting a refund. She ate it all. What is she thinking?" So we send the driver up, who's a bigger, older dude, and tells her as much. I hear some heated words, hear the door slam shut. He comes back with a basket of bones busting up. "No freebie for you, lady." That was unbelievably satisfying to finally be in a place to call someone like that out, and have some support from the higher-ups. I've since left that place too, under positive circumstances, and am currently working at a great tavern, but man, what a wild legacy. 5. I was winding down for a much-needed early close on Mother's Day Sunday. I'm one of the only people on staff who didn't have family plans that day. My family situation is what you might call complicated, so worked all morning while short-staffed and was pretty beat. It was especially emotionally hammering to deliver so many pizzas to happy families visiting or hosting their moms. I was ready to go home and get drunk and forget about the whole stupid holiday. So I get a late call, just a few minutes before we closed, and decided to take it because money is money and it was a pretty big order. 6 pies. So I loaded up and realized about 3/4 of the way to the destination that the address was for the local senior center. They used to order all the time, tip really well, and make really sweet conversation before the pandemic, so I was psyched to see they were safe and steady enough to order pizzas again. I snuck them a side of breadsticks from a douchebag who never tips and always harasses our female drivers that I was dropping off along the way. By the time he'd call to complain we'd be closed, suck on that. But not on your breadsticks. Anyways, I digress. I got there, and was glad to finish off what had been an overall really shitty day, with a pleasant trip to the senior center and carried the food to the front desk. The receptionist offered to carry the pizzas back, but she looked frail enough to be a senior care resident herself, so I said I was happy to get them where they were going. She COVID-checked me and gave me a new mask, not sure what was wrong with mine, but whatever, and I found my way to some event room where they'd ordered the pizzas. And it was a total gut punch. Literally just a room full of sons and daughters visiting their mothers and having some kind of festive party. My good mood went away real quick, and I dropped the pizzas on the table and shuffled out. But I realized that while they'd prepaid for the pizzas over the phone with a credit card, they hadn't tipped. So no matter how bitter I was, I had to make in-person contact with whoever had ordered the pizzas, or I had basically just wasted half an hour. I went around the room asking for Margaret, the name on the order, and eventually someone put me in front of her. Our shop doesn't have a uniform or anything, so I started to explain, "Hi, Margaret, right? You ordered?" And she was really frazzled, I guess running the event, so she cut me off and was like, "Oh good, you're here. We were starting to wonder. I don't think Bonnie has been matched with anyone yet. Wait right here." I tried to cut in and explain I'd just delivered the pizzas and she'd mistaken me for someone else, but it went right over her head. She pushed an old woman over in a wheelchair and said, practically shouting, "Bonnie, this young man is here just for you." Before I could try my explanation again, Bonnie replied,
"He is he? Well, full disclosure, son, don't get too attached, 'cause Jesus has my heart."
Margaret, the one who'd ordered the pizza, or at least the name we had on it, whispered to me, "She's a real-life wire, have fun." And then Margaret and my tip were in the wind. Bonnie looked up at me and goes,
"You like bridge? I hope you brought your checkbook,"
and started wheeling away to the table. I followed her, thinking I'd better not lose track of her until I could return her to Margaret. I spotted a woman with an ID badge who looked like she knew what she was doing and explained that I was a pizza delivery guy, but someone had left me with this old lady in my charge. I guess my explanation wasn't clear enough because I said something like, "Hey, I was actually delivering some pizzas up here." And the girl says, "You brought pizza? Oh, that's so nice. I'll make sure you're compensated." So at first I thought, great, all resolved now. But no, she gave me a wad of cash and this organizer disappeared, leaving me with Bonnie and her deck of cards. I kept looking for Margaret to return this lady to, but also did kind of enjoy making conversation with her, and knew no other deliveries would be coming in since we'd closed on my drive over. I actually did like listening to Bonnie talk about the YouTube conspiracies she wholeheartedly believed, and the spat she was having with the arts and crafts chaperone and so on. She even gave me a recipe. But I was worried that she had dementia and thought I was a family member, or that she was expecting a particular visitor and at any moment a guy would storm in and say, "What are you doing with my aunt?" or something. So finally, I saw the second organizer again, the one who had given me the cash. I figured Margaret may never return, so I shouldn't wait for her. And I pulled the organizer aside and said, "Look, there's been a mix-up. I don't really know this woman." The organizer seemed distracted. She was doing several things at once, and she very casually said, "Oh, there's no mix-up. The pairings were totally random. You weren't expected to have much in common. You get to know her. Don't overthink it." And receded back into the crowd while I was still saying, "No, I'm just delivering pizza." At that point, I seriously considered leaving because it wasn't my fault that these people were under-organized. But Bonnie was waiting for me with this huge grin on her face to play more cards. And it didn't look like there were any real relatives coming for her, so I figured I would stick it out for a few more games. I was eventually able to pick up in context from eavesdropping on other pairs that this was not a mother-child extravaganza. It was a volunteer event from women living at the senior home without kids, or whose kids couldn't visit them. That was a huge relief because I would have felt really terrible if she was a dementia patient who thought her son had come. Especially because I was kind of enjoying being mothered by her, for lack of a better term. It felt really good to have someone asking what I was doing at work and saying they were proud of me for things that weren't actually a big deal. She proudly bragged to everyone we passed on our country yard walk about this silly little Employee of the Week award I just won. Basically title only. You get your photo on the wall, but everyone gets it at some point, and usually more than once. But she made it feel really important. And I really secretly loved how she got outraged over minor transgressions on my behalf. Like I told her how my landlord is sticking it to me on repairs, and she was like, "He's quite the right pair in the tuna." With such sincere gusto, she said she knew a guy who could
"Tune him up for you."
And I don't think she was talking about repairs, but I didn't follow up. Every time I tried to extricate myself, she'd have another activity she wanted me to do. Once we finished cars, she wanted to do arts and crafts. Once we did that, she wanted me to push her around the courtyard. Once we did that, she was famished after the walk. And though all she did was sit in her wheelchair, wanted pizza. And I'd fed her 2 slices before an orderly appeared and angrily informed me she was not supposed to eat pizza. I don't know how she then ended up with the 3rd slice, but I seriously did not give it to her. Finally, the party was winding down, and she wanted me to hang out and watch a game show with her. About 30 seconds into the show, she was asleep. I left her a coupon, even though I guess she isn't supposed to eat pizza, and headed home. It was kind of nice to spend Mother's Day doing Mother's Day type stuff. Really nice, actually. At this point in my life and career, if you want to call it that, I can have no wholly good memories that involve pizza. But this was pretty close. So happy Mother's Day to those who celebrated and happy Russian Victory Day to those who didn't. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Parables of the Pizza Oven, Episode 4, and thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. If you enjoyed the video, then whack a like in the oven, leave a comment, and if you think I passed the audition, subscribe. Alright, now I have a little shout out to do, not a birthday shout out, just a shouty shout out. Let's see. Roxy? Your daughter Erin sent a message in. Now I know things might be a little bleak right now, but she wants you to know that she loves you very much, and she is very, very proud of you. Alrighty. I think on that note, we're going to wrap things up there. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.